So if we look at what is driving the economy today, there are a few number of industries that are doing very well. Um, and some of those we know very readily. We have retail driving the economy. We have the financial services driving the economy with a lot of investments coming into Africa and Nigeria. We've seen the boom of fintechs and restructuring around how they regulate them in Nigeria as well because of that growth that we've seen. The agricultural sector is still very relevant in Nigeria today. We have the telecommunications, we have technology as well. All of these are constantly driving the growth of our economy today in Nigeria and of course across Africa as it is today. Well, small businesses have peculiar challenges, both in Nigeria and Africa. The first is being exposed to funding. The other is having proper bookkeeping and following the current guidelines around data management. We have them having operational issues coming from the desire to grow and expand their business from their local vicinities to other areas within the country and outside the country as well. Also, the technical know-how of managing not only about sales, but also putting the right kind of processes in place to manage the growth that they may be exposed to. Today, technology is helping SMEs to grow bigger than they envisioned to grow, exposed to multiple facets of customers that they normally would not be exposed to, entering into new markets that they may not be exposed to. And this is the advantage of technology, but as well, it comes with its own challenges to the small businesses as well. Quickteller Business, which was called WebPay a couple of years back, was a product-led strategy where it's one-on-one and it gives the businesses a certain set of APIs, you integrate it, and that's where the service ends. But in the last 5 years, innovation has changed the way Interswitch approaches enabling small businesses for digital payment and supporting them through proper integration into the technology landscape that they are being invited into. Now we have a platform ecosystem play. And how is this beneficial? The first thing is that it reduces the cost of acquisition to any business. There used to be a cost to onboard. Now there is no cost to onboard on this platform. That's the first benefit to the SMEs. The second benefit to the SME is that value is now created from a central point of view. You don't have to do multiple integration, multiple installation. You don't have to speak to multiple vendors in order to get this service. What Interswitch has done is bring this ecosystem of value into a central place called Quickteller Business. Let me give you a quick instance. So a customer wants to see their transaction report, they find it on that platform. A customer wants to deal with their chargebacks, they find it on that platform. The customer wants to do escrow service, as an example. They don't need to talk to any particular institution, they find that service there. The customer wants to apply multiple payment options for their business. You want to pay with USSD, you want to pay with QR, you want to pay with transfer, you want to pay with non-card or card type payment. All of it is possible from just one integration or one self-onboarding on that platform. Now, what this is doing is that it's reducing the skill required for a business to run using technology because everything is now consolidated and integrated for them. And on the matter of data, everything sits on that same platform as well. You have your profile, you have your KYC document, you have your transaction information, you have your customer information, you have the payment type data, which gives insight into knowing how your customers prefer to pay you and when they prefer to pay you and what is it that they like to buy the most. So all of this data is now consolidated in one view to all the small businesses. And so they're able to adopt technology easier, they're able to manage their business more faster based on this approach that Interswitch has implemented. And what is also fantastic to know as well is that because of the 20 years experience of Interswitch and all the partnership it has built over the last 2 decades, they have also consolidated this on that platform. Now, Quickteller Business exposes small businesses to big brands like MasterCard, Visa, American Express, China Union Pay, JCB, Discover Cards. These are big brands that will take millions of naira to go partner with. Now, Interswitch has consolidated all of that a simple muffin shop can leverage that relationship. A simple dry cleaning company can leverage that partnership that Interswitch has built. And it's not ending there. As technology continues to evolve, as consumer behavior continues to change, as more payment option, digital services become available, Interswitch will continue to integrate that. And what is interesting about this is because you're already a partner, you're already onboarded on this Quickteller Business, every evolution of technology doesn't require any cost from these small businesses. It doesn't require them to do any form of integration. You just turn on, you see the services there. So if, for instance, tomorrow you choose to accept international cards, which is one of the most recent services that Interswitch has launched, you can enable that without having to do anything. Just say, yes, I would like this service, and then you're turned on, and then you can begin to consume this technology and payment options. I'll tell you 3 clear reasons. The first is a company who has been in payment for 20 years understands what it's doing. It has built the rails, it has built the technology, it has invested in infrastructure that the people that you think they are our competitors are building on as well. So that's the first one. There is pedigree, there's credibility, there's brand equity that you can trust. Second is also the fact that because of the size of business and the global partnership that it has, the standards that it has built around its product and services, it might look like it takes a while to onboard, but the trust that you are investing in by partnering with Interswitch means that your data, your transaction, your money, and whatever concerns you may have, Interswitch would have thought about that and have created the right services and legal framework to support and protect your business from a security point of view. And the third part of it is because of the dynamic nature of the Interswitch business model, it is not just a digital acquirer or a physical acquirer. If you know Interswitch's business model, it's built around processing, industry vertical solutions, e-commerce, and all sorts of APIs also built around enabling fintechs as well. Now, consolidating all of this means that Interswitch has the capacity to do much more than the regular payment service provider. And one fundamental one is everybody's focused on enabling your e-commerce website, but there are people who have physical stores. So what Interswitch is doing is to bridge that gap between your physical and your digital store. You have a physical store, Interswitch can replicate that as a digital store. You have a digital store, Interswitch can connect it electronically to your physical store. With one profile, when you onboard on Quickteller Business, you see 2 stores. You see your physical stores and the POS terminal connected to Quickteller Business, and you still have your storefront if you don't have a website, or you have a website, and all this data sits in a central position, giving you that omnichannel approach to managing your business. Nobody's offering that, and this is what makes Interswitch unique about that. And every services and tools that is creating is to empower those kind of scenarios where customers are saying, I want much more than what it is that my business can do. I want you to expand my horizon. And think about it this way. We have over 5 million plus consumer on our program using the quickteller.com service. One of the beauties is that consumer base can be exposed to the businesses that are on storefront, which gives you access to quick market, right? Now, these are also some of the benefits coming from the years of being in business in Nigeria that we provide. One other thing as well is because we're also a regional switch, we have partners in Kenya, set up in Kenya, Uganda, Gambia, and other countries as well. What this means is that as we continue to build the rails into Africa, we're also thinking and putting the right infrastructure in place to say, if you open a business in Nigeria, by extension, you can replicate that business in the countries that Interswitch has infrastructure also established in there. So this is what makes us unique and different. Well, the matter of the consumer trusting to pay merchants on digital channel gateways, it's a valid concern, but I think that concern is gradually fading away. The growth that we've seen in the last 5 years shows that there's a lot of adoption. It's more convenient, it's easier, it has worked for millions of people, it would work for you as well. The fraud rate is low. There are now more advanced tools that have been implemented. There are new policies that have been implemented that protects the consumer as well. So that fear, I think, over the last 5 years or more has really declined, and there are more trust around using your card to make payments. But let's move away from card. Innovation, has come into play. Innovation has brought about new payment options, right? You have pay with QR, you have pay with USSD, you have pay with transfer, right? You have non-card tokens where you can digitize your card into a PIN. Instead of putting your card details and putting your PIN, you can generate a payment code, one of Interswitch's products, to make payments. So there are alternatives to putting your card details. And what makes the Interswitch solution interesting is that it was the first pioneer in 2007, 2018 to pioneer the service of integrated payment, which means that a gateway has integrated to other form of payment so that consumers can come on there and find various ways of paying a merchant from one transaction. So before, you would say, can I have your account number and I'll make a transfer to you? The merchant cannot connect if proper bookkeeping is to be had. What 5,000 naira that come into my account and what product that is supposed to be buying. They would see the customer information, but what product? Now, with Quickteller Business and the Quickteller Smart POS devices, you can walk into a store, pick an item. As the process of paying, you are presented with 5 to 6 payment options. The benefit to the buyer is that you are not limited to cards if you don't trust the system with your card. The benefit to the merchant is that the merchant can now broaden the acceptance criteria. Now, when the merchant broadens the acceptance criteria, it then means that the customer pool then expands more. So you go from an average maybe 20 potential customer to having maybe 1,000 potential customer because of these various acceptance options that Interswitch has presented to the small businesses. Well, as group business head for acquiring in Interswitch, there are some concerns that I've seen. One of them is people are used to coming physically to a store, and now you've made the business digital. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to drive the digital business. The second one is, I'm used to you coming to my physical location, or I come to your physical location to give you your item. Now you've made my business digital. How do I bridge the gap of fulfillment? So these are real life issues that we're seeing from the data that we're having, and of course our engagement with the market. One of the plans that we have in the near future is how we can bridge these two gaps clearly. One, sensitize our merchant base around digital marketing. And I know that quite recently, last week, there was an event where we hosted over 1,000 merchants on how to properly do digital marketing and promote their business online, because now your business is digital. To take that forward, there's also plans around, could we do more around getting them to understand how to advertise, maybe create an enabling environment to sponsor some of these adverts for some of our merchants. This is conversations that we're having. There's also the part where we say, maybe we can have some strategic partnerships on behalf of our merchants where the delivery of their items can be done by third party, thereby bridging the fulfillment and delivery gap that these new businesses who have now been introduced to technology and digital payment are having. So these two are constantly concerns that we've seen, and we're working towards bridging that gap. Just to put that in summary, educate them around digital marketing and how that can promote their business. Find a way to, if we can, sponsor some of this online advertising for them, where vouchers can be given for those merchants who are on our platform. And then of course, bridging the gap for fulfillment and delivery, where you find that I now am having to get orders on the phone or through email or through my website or through my storefront. So how do I get the item from this location to the customer who is in Port Harcourt? Somebody I've never delivered outside Lagos before. So these are some of the conversations that we're having and putting things in place to bridge this gap. Well, I think there's a lot that we need to do around sensitizing the market. And I think we've done a lot, but there's a lot more that we can do. When the business of e-commerce started, Interswitch was charging 150,000 naira, and quite so, because it was a big technology investment. Very few people were doing online business at the time. The cost of integration was expensive, as well as the cost of setting up a website at that time. People would just want to try it out, and so the cost of getting a developer to integrate and working with this person was higher than what we have today because of economy of scale. Now today, because a lot more people have gone digital, a lot more people want to come online, that business model has changed. Now you don't pay anything. In fact, for the last 3 years plus, you don't pay anything to come on quickteller.com. Or do you pay anything to get connected to business.quickteller.com? So if you come on Quickteller Business, there is no cost at all to any business for setup or sign on. However, the business model has now evolved to, as you use the platform and as you receive payment, you get charged a percentage. Today, the standard rate is 1.5% of your transaction. That is what is charged today. Well, the future that I see for MSMEs and SMEs who have come on Quickteller Business and similar platforms is they're going to have broader reach. And let me define what broader reach is. The more technology evolves, the more data becomes standardized, the more licenses become available from these card schemes, and the more a more holistic policy are put in place from a payment service point of view. We're going to see an Africa that is integrated. An Africa that the borders that are being created due to policies, financial inclusion, cultural differences would slowly fade away. And when that happens, technology would be the hands that hold all of us together across Africa. And that means that I can be in Nigeria and I can partner with anybody in Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, and we're able to do business together. And cross-border transactions, settlements, digital operations are easy, and we find it comfortable trading using digital payment. That is the future that I see. And it doesn't have to be big enterprises doing that. I could be doing cupcakes and I could be supplying. I could be doing the meat business and I could be supplying, where you see the natural resources that we have and locally made items that we have begin to trade between African countries. That I see is the future, because a lot of that happens locally and within close vicinity. Now, when you have an integrated Africa, when you have better data, when you have better policy, when you have reduced bias, cultural biases, trading becomes more comfortable, and more smaller SMEs or MSMEs can then talk to each other, integrate more, and cross-border transactions become possible. Because we at Interswitch are seeing that future happening, investments are already going on to enable that today. It might take 5 years or 10 years, but we have always been committed to what the future would bring by investing now. That's why we are known as the enabler in the industry today. So the rails that we're doing now is to enable that time when consumer behaviors change, and we are already in place to support the businesses to accept payment in whatever payment options that will become available at the time. And that's the same rails that we are creating now, so that when that opportunity comes and we're able to pull Africa together, it becomes easy for us to do. Beyond just building a gateway and enabling SMEs and MSMEs to come on the platform, Interswitch is constantly thinking about ways to enable business and make sure that whatever desire or strategy or business plan they have, we can support it. For instance, we're building into the lender network that we have today, the digital lending network that we have today, which means that businesses can then have fundings for their business through a digital platform, all integrated into Quickteller Business. And that can be value financing by those trying to pay. We're building the escrow service, which means that the consumer who wants to do high-value transactions, who don't know you, who are somewhere else, can trust the system, can trust the Interswitch brand, and pay you in advance for those services. And when value is given, of course, fundings are then released for that to happen. We're also seeing a situation where we're building acceptance for international type transactions. So if there are people outside Nigeria who would like to patronize your business, Interswitch is enabling the gateway for such transactions to happen. So we're not just creating a gateway for you to accept local transactions. We are building a business ecosystem that supports all types of businesses going forward. And as we continue to think of innovative ways to do that, we are unlocking that on your profile so that you can continue to grow and achieve whatever business goals that you have as an MSME or SME.